test already. We're all good. Yeah. So, what's up, guys? William and
Veronica
and
Don
Gomez
nice
here, hanging out with us. This guy's a rock star in the solar space. So we're like super excited to have you here. Glad you came by.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is Don Gomez. Somebody's just texting me here. We're just hanging out with him just because lately we've been getting a lot of our clients, friends, people that see us on social media ask us about solar power, and we just wanted to get the expert here and hear from his mouth. But we wanted you to know who Don is and where he's been, what he's up to now, and give us more information on the industry itself. So Don, you're with used to be Vivint.
Correct.
Now it's called Sunrun. They merged. Biggest company out there. There's no competition out there.
No competition.
That's what I hear, right? And this guy, there's no competition behind him either. That's what I'm hearing also.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the company, why don't you just take, maybe 30 seconds, just tell us about you, where you came from, where you're at.
Yeah. So I started working with solar for about 6 years now. I'm the district manager for the top office in the East Coast, and what we do is we focus in the North Shore. Helping homeowners understand the value of solar. I'm sure a lot of people ask, or they're seeing a lot of solar going up.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we help homeowners understand the value and help them see if the home would be beneficial and would be a good fit for the program. Essentially what I do, I'm very focused in the Spanish community and just helping homeowners, as we were speaking earlier, creating impact, right? So how do we create more impact, not only helping people understand how to manage their finances, but also how to grow as an individual. And what we're doing here is doing solar gives us the platform to be able to connect with people in a deeper level, right? Because we're talking about how to lower a bill that they can't cancel, right? So what we do is we literally sit with them, explain to them not only how it works, but how could it benefit them right away. And this is a long-term plan, right? Because right now, when we see solar or the energy prices skyrocket every single year, we're basically offering solutions on how to protect yourself against that.
Right. And we just, before we had this interview, we sat down with Don, we had lunch with him, and we picked his brain about all these things about solar energy, which we have solar energy in one of our properties, and we always, I never knew exactly how it worked and what benefit it gave me, what the bill, all these different questions. So we're going to go through a series of questions so he can dive in a little bit more into the specifics. And if anybody has any question, please type it in the comments and we'll have Don answer it. But let's first of all, what's the solar system?
What's a solar system? So it's very simple. Right, so if we look outside our home, we're going to notice power lines, transformers.
Mm-hmm.
What a solar system does is a substitute of that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're utilizing new technology to change the way we bring our electricity into our home.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, all the electricity that we're consuming is being outsourced or shipped from out of the state, typically from upstate New York or Canada. So what we're doing is eliminating that process, which is cleaner, more efficient, and a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. And I want to talk about that, a lot cheaper, because he broke down a bill, and he pretty much threw a bill on one of the papers we had in the restaurant, and he explained how it worked. Just as simple as, let's say, how much is somebody paying with National Grid per kilowatt, right?
Per kilowatt.
Versus with Sunrun. What's the difference there?
So typically it's 30 to 40% cheaper.
30 to 40% cheaper.
The reason why, if we look at our bill, our monthly cost, 60% of that, it's all delivery charges.
Wow.
Okay? So it's like, let's say we order a pizza for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
right? The pizza's $45, we're hungry. It's a big pizza.
Big pizza.
Right? The delivery guy comes here and he says, hey, it's $100 because it's snowing outside.
Mm.
Would we eat the pizza or return it?
Right, we'd cancel that pizza right.
Correct.
Right.
But with the electricity,
Right.
that's the only option we have, the only system that we have. And unfortunately, it's an expensive system, right? So the problem that the utility companies are having right now is for every single kilowatt, for every 10 kilowatts that they're producing, in the transportation from Canada to here, they're losing 8 kilowatts.
Holy smokes.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
2 kilowatts remain.
Correct.
my
so
God.
if you look at our bill, we're actually paying. Scoot over. I don't bite.
Will is like hiding it.
Oh, he is here somewhere. He's hiding
He's
over
right
there.
here.
I
It's
was
not a
trying.
voice. It's not recording.
It's not about me.
I know, but you asked a question, so we want to make sure.
So like, if we're paying $100 in electricity, $60 of that $100 is going towards the power lines. So it's not what we're consuming that's expensive. So if you're walking around the house shutting off lights, that's not the answer. The problem is the delivery cost, right? So what a solar system does, we're substituting that transportation, and we're basically making homes self-sufficient and having them produce their own electricity.
Wow.
Again, it's cheaper, more efficient, and it's cleaner.
It's clean.
That's awesome. That's and you know, in a short description, that's what solar system does. Let's talk about your experience. And I know this guy, you know, we talked to him for about 2 hours. He is the man. Like, he overnights, he does a lot of business, he does a lot of installations. How many installations have you done, let's say, in the last 12 months?
12 months, I always average over 100 and, so last year I did over 140.
140.
140.
Yeah.
140. 140 families to get
Correct.
the benefit of.
Actually, yeah, and that's through COVID.
That's through COVID.
And how long have you been selling?
So
solar?
close to 6 years, and I have close to 500 customers right now.
Close to six,
Yeah.
6 years,
Mhm.
500 customers. So as you're doing this more and more now,
Mhm.
are you seeing people are more open to having a conversation about solar now?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's like everything, right? We're in the second adapter stage, right? So the first few years was the grind, right? We're offering something new, quote unquote, right? But it's technology that's been around for years, but it wasn't affordable, right? Thanks to federal and state incentives, it became affordable to homeowners, right? So we started offering. It's not that solar is something new, it just became affordable, right? So now we're in that second adapter stage where if you look around, every single street has a solar system. If you live in Revere, Lynn, every single street, I always tell people, if there's a street with no solar, call me, I'll put the solar system there. But you're not gonna find a home without a street without a solar system.
Look at us. So not every city and town can have solar.
That's the
Or
other.
if they do, because we live in Peabody, and Peabody, that we don't have that ability to get it
Correct.
through your company. But if somebody has solar in Peabody, that means they paid out of pocket.
They bought it, yeah.
So that's
They-
in our street,
That's
somebody
why
has it,
we
right?
have somebody who has solar panels.
So
in
they
our
probably
street.
bought it.
Right.
They bought it.
The reason why is because you have a different utility company and they have their own power plants out here in Massachusetts.
Right.
So
Right.
you probably use a lot of electricity and your bill's not over $100.
No.
Right, it's very low.
It's
Right.
super low.
So you've been doing this more now, people are more open to it. Now, I mean, even with electric cars now, right? People are just
Correct.
more open to that. And it's cleaner, better for the environment, saving money, makes a lot of sense. So that's the reason we reached out, because our clients are asking us about this, and we're like, how come we're not better educated? Let's hear it from the pro's mouth, right? This
Right.
guy is number one in his district, right?
Correct.
And company-wide, I believe.
Yes.
You're number one as well?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you know a little bit about what you're doing.
So yeah, exactly. Like,
So-
if you talk to this guy, you're gonna get all the answers answered. One question that I think everybody has this question at some point or before even talking about solar panels. What's the cost of installing solar panels to the homeowner?
Correct. That's a good question because a lot of people are wondering, there's gotta be a subsidy, right? Because there's so many solar systems. Who's putting the money for the solar?
Right.
So is at no cost if the home was to qualify. What that means is, if the home makes sense as far as sun hours and the utility approves the home, we could install the system at no cost, okay? The $1 million question, where does the money come from? Okay? Just like everything else comes from us, the consumers, okay? So if we know it is on our bill, there's a few specific charges that cover the solar.
A national
program.
grid bill.
National Grid or Eversource.
Or
Eversource.
Eversource bill, that's
Okay,
right.
so if you guys are watching and you have a bill in hand, just look at the delivery charges. So 60% of your monthly cost goes towards the power line maintenance and upgrades, and it goes towards solar. So we're actually paying for solar up front,
What is
on
the
our bill.
name on the bill that represents solar?
So it's energy efficiency charge, renewable energy charge, and distributed solar charge. So it's clear.
So
It's very obvious. Yeah. The thing is, when was the last time we looked at the specific charges on our bill?
And it doesn't mean
No,
anything to us.
it
It's
doesn't-
like
doesn't mean
all
anything.
these. I don't know. Am I
Oh,
gonna
that
call and
means-
ask them
Right.
what were you charging
We're
me
gonna
for?
ask.
But what's
Just-
interesting is on the back of the bill, there's a clear description of each charge, right? But what happens is we get a $200, $300 bill. We're not going to take the time to read what the charges mean. You're focused on the $300 bill.
And when it's coming.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
it.
Right.
And it's on average coming in the same. But I'm guessing during COVID, I mean, I'm guessing a lot of people saw a spike in their bill usage, right? Because everybody's home, everybody's in their computer,
Right.
more electricity. Are you getting more calls now versus, you having to reach out to people now?
Correct. It's always a grind, right? We're always trying to find customers, but not only the consumption's higher, but the rate with National Grid or Eversource have been increasing dramatically, especially now with the high consumption, right? Because high consumption means more maintenance and upgrades on National Grid or Eversource end. And we always pay for that as consumers.
And one thing you mentioned earlier was the inflation on National Grid versus the solar system. What's the inflation there? Like, let's say right now people are paying 26 cents per kilowatt or whatever in 20 years versus the other company. What's the rate there?
Yeah, so I mean, in the last 5 years, they went up 100% almost. We're like 90%. So they nearly doubled what they were
Wow.
charging 5-6 years ago.
Oh my God.
And it's just because of the delivery cost, okay? So like, and it's not the utility company's fault. It's just, well, it is because they didn't prepare, they didn't know our consumption. Right now, we have electric vehicles. I mean, for example, my household, there's probably 6 iPads being charged every night. That requires the system with National Grid and the utility companies to be upgraded every single year, okay? And it's about $2 trillion in average countrywide to upgrade these systems. Those are passed on to the consumers in the delivery cost.
Those
Correct.
charges.
Correct,
So
yeah.
these are all things that you don't realize when when you look at your bill and when you're considering making the change or adding the solar panel to your home. So it's super helpful.
So let's back up a little bit, because you did mention if the home does qualify.
Good point.
Talk a little more about that.
Yeah, so right now with the amount of applications or people trying to go solar, only 2 out of 5 homes qualify.
Okay, so not every home qualifies.
Correct.
Not every home.
Because like if you notice there's streets full of solar, those streets, we can't put more solar because the transformers are being tapped or being capped out.
Okay.
Correct. So
Okay.
what we do is our job is very simple. Okay? All we do is find a home that has the most chance of qualifying. Okay? We present the homeowner a free design. The design will tell you where the panels will go, how many panels you need to power the home, how much electricity you sell to the utility. Because now you're becoming your own business in a sense, right? You're powering your home and you're also selling electricity to the utility company instead of just being a consumer, right? When you're buying electricity, you're simply a consumer. When you put solar, you're providing your home with clean, cheaper power, and you're also selling electricity.
Back to National Grid.
Correct.
Okay.
So what happens if I overproduce? What could I do with that?
So you could either sell it to the utility, and if you have a system or enough roof space, you could produce all your power, right? But if you have additional roof space, you could produce more and virtually net meter it or meter it to a different meter.
Like, for example, like he made the comment that one of his, was it your brother? Or
Yeah, my
somebody?
brother, and I have another customer. For example, I have a customer in Lynn. He overproduces a ton of electricity, and he transfers that electricity to his dad in Revere.
Look at that. So his dad doesn't pay a bill.
A bill because his son
because
puts
his
solar.
son has solar. So there is unlimited benefits of just putting
Right.
solar panels. That's awesome. What else? My other question was every house was a good candidate for the property for the solar panels. What about multifamilies? We're talking about his parents, how they have a multifamily home. They have a slated roof. It's not a flat roof. So
Okay.
it's 3 properties. Would that property qualify?
That would potentially qualify with a 3-family home. If it's flat, it won't
It won't
qualify
qualify.
because of the height. Okay. So the best thing what I tell people is like, hey, whether it's a single family, 2, 3 family, give us a call and we do a free consultation to see if the home would be a good candidate. Because for me, the main thing, not only the structure will qualify, if I'm not providing the homeowner enough savings, then it doesn't make sense for me.
Okay, so there's got to be a net benefit there.
Correct, yeah. So the main thing is to help homeowners see the benefits and reap the benefits. Another thing that we're adding now is home storage. Okay, so we're going to be able to provide homes with batteries because with the high consumption that we're experiencing right now, there's going to be a high probability of blackouts and brownouts. What we're doing is finding homes that could be eligible to produce their own power and also store power so they never lose power.
Like the batteries that you were talking about.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're going to be the only ones partying on the street. Everybody else is going to be lights out.
Ah,
Exactly.
That's
nice
what I
one.
want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Well, we live in Peabody,
Oh,
so
that's right. We're going
We're gonna be out.
We're going to be
we're gonna be out.
We
You gotta go to your parents' house.
We're going to go to
Yeah.
our parents' house.
We're gonna go to Chelsea.
So we've been talking about like what properties qualify, a little bit about the company. How about what's the average savings to a consumer if they decided to make this switch?
Yeah, so it varies from 30 to 50%. We also offer, depending if the home makes sense, for a rehab program where if somebody has a bad roof, we could help change that roof. If somebody has an old electrical system, we could upgrade that electrical system if it makes sense to our company to invest in the house.
Okay.
So the savings vary from 30 to 80% depending on what upgrades we're doing to the house.
So it's more like every house is different, every situation is
Correct.
different. You could get like a lot of different benefits if you took the time to, if you had a consultation with Don and he kind of ran the house and the design and gave you an estimate of how much that would be. One thing that was useful, and we'll do in another interview, is he was going to go through one of the bills, like a national grid bill. So we put it on the screen, and we can talk about like what the savings are. Because I think you mentioned that some people push back on solar panels because they might get 2 bills.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So they might be like, oh my God, I'm overpaying because I'm getting 2 different bills from this company. So explain a little bit more about that.
Because like as human beings, like we think 2 is more than 1, right?
Right.
So if we're getting 2 bills, we're going to be automatically paying more, but that's not necessarily the case, right? Because the savings is based on how much you produce with the solar system. But for the viewers to get a better understanding, it would be better to have a bill and have them see the breakdown.
Okay.
Because like it was kind of confusing at first, right? But when I
Right.
broke it down in paper, you're like, it's the same, like the savings, if you're paying 1 or 2 bills, is exactly to the penny the same.
The same. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll go over that.
Yes.
And we'll explain a
Do
little
they
bit
have
more.
any questions on the?
Let me check. Solar expert, great discussion. Thank you, Danny.
Question is, what does William use in his hair? It looks awesome. I just
Let
I
me
need it.
see.
That's how I wake up.
So, any questions, anybody, let us know. We're going to be logging off soon.
And let's say, what questions haven't we asked you that you typically get from a consumer out there, potential consumer? Yeah?
What happens if I sell a house?
What if I happen to, yes.
Yeah, so that comes up a lot, and I think this is the reason why this is so important. You guys sell homes, I do solar. It just transfers over, right? So for example, a lot of people say, what if they don't want solar, okay? So there's no reason why nobody's gonna want to take out the system and then pay double on their power bill. But it's the same thing, you guys are in Peabody, right? So let's say if you bought a house in Revere, okay? You're not gonna tell the new homeowner, hey, I love your house because it's a perfect fit for us. We absolutely are in love with the house. I would only buy it if I could take my utility company with me. I don't like National Grid. What would the homeowner say?
Right.
With National Grid,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Was the and I think part of it is the same thing we're talking about. People have all these questions. Is it a negative? I had this situation last week where we were selling a house with solar panels, and the buyer, we were representing the seller. The buyer was pushing back because he's like, I don't want the solar panels.
Right.
I don't want the solar panels. To the point that we had to show him the bills that he was paying.
How much
Like,
was the difference?
it was a huge difference from like he showed me like 12 months and before he had him, and you could tell that there was a big difference on the bill because he was paying for 2 units. It was connected to the solar system. So finally he's like, okay. They just got scared because when they say it's lease, it's a lease system, so they think they have to pay like a monthly fee because
Correct.
of the lease
Yeah.
unit.
And we don't offer a lease. What we do is what we're doing is we're modeling what National Grid and Eversource are currently doing right now, okay? Which is a PPA, a power purchase agreement, okay?
Okay.
So if I own a house in Revere, I don't own none of the power lines or the transformers or the poles or even the meter on the side of my home. All my own responsibility is to pay National Grid a bill for the electricity that I consume. That makes it a power purchase agreement.
Got it.
Okay, so all we do is we model what they're doing with a smarter, cheaper, and more efficient way to produce power. So what we do is say, hey, you have a power purchase agreement with National Grid. We'll give you a power purchase agreement with us. It's just cheaper, smarter, and more efficient.
Okay.
So it's not a lease.
So it saves you money. You can transfer it to the new owner.
Correct.
And I mean, what are some of the downsides here?
You got to qualify.
You got to
Okay.
qualify.
Okay.
So what I tell people is that, for example, in Lynn, I have streets where I don't even go there anymore.
That's it. They're
Because it's
tapped out.
tapped out,
Tapped out.
right? So
Got it.
what's the catch? You just gotta qualify, right? It's something that you're paying into every month, like a tax, right? So it's about qualifying and seeing if you're not too late based on the street that you live in.
Okay.
Got it. Got
So
it.
make sure that you give us a call, leave us a comment, send us a private message, and we can put you in contact with Don. So he can look into your home and see if you could qualify and take advantage of all these benefits.
Well, this is how this interview started. It's like somebody was asking about it. We didn't know much about it. We connected with Dawn, and
Right.
here we are. So we're planning on getting more information. We're going to do another interview, but this is personally on
A
him.
few more.
A few more. Oh yeah, well, this
few
is just
more.
getting
We're
started.
gonna do the bill. We're gonna talk about a little bit about
Yeah.
the struggles
You
that
should see
Don
his-
went
hear
through
this
when
guy's
he was younger. How he's doing right now. He's doing amazing.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be doing a few more
Yeah.
interviews.
And I'm excited and grateful for you guys.
Of course.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
You guys
but-
are awesome.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. If
Thank
you guys
you.
have any questions, like you said, reach out to us
Give us a call.
and be safe out there. Talk to you guys.
Phone numbers 617-842-2088.
Wait, I said that already. It's
No, because they might not know. Thank you for watching.